Up again. All done? Yeah. Good evening, councillors. Good evening, members of the public. Welcome to this evening's amenities meeting at the Barn Green on the 22nd of October. We're not expecting any fire drills, but if we do, the fire exits are as you came into the building and just out the door down to the left-hand side. Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda this evening is apologies. I think we have apologies from Councillor Ranger
and Councillor
Carson. And also I think it's worth noting that Councillor Berry, although he's on the agenda, as of last Wednesday, this was published before his move from amenities onto highways. Yep. Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is the declaration of interest. Arising from this agenda, members and officers are invited to declare any relevant interest. Notwithstanding this item, members may subsequently declare an interest at any point during the meeting. Do we have declarations of interest from anyone? No, thank you. Item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. To receive and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the meeting held on the 10th of September 2025. So you've all had a chance to have a quick look. Are you all happy for those that were here? Which is just Councillor Stallard and Councillor Vickers. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Item 4 on the agenda is public participation. The meeting will, if required, recess for no more than 15 minutes for questions and comments from members of the public on matters pertaining to this committee. Okay, so this is over to the members of the public. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council this evening?
Yes.
If you could just, if you can just state your name and then go ahead. Just for the.
Right, okay, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been liaising with Francis about a container over at Kidmore Field. We've had some troubles getting the dates and times agreed for removal and recycling of a new facility because we're all volunteers. We do all our jobs completely in our own time, and for a long time nobody was able to allow us access to the field at a time that we didn't have to take time off work. We have now agreed that one container will come on one day and another container will be replaced on a completely separate day due to it being by two completely separate companies,
Right.
which is understandable and unavoidable. But we are still waiting for confirmation of when that will happen. Unfortunately, between Francis and my ability with her 2 days a week and my work and my other priorities, it's about 2 weeks between every email. So when I saw the meeting was coming up, I thought the perfect place to bring it to people's attention.
Okay.
So we are looking for a solid date, please, in which we can get this off the land and replaced. But we as well as everything else, we don't have any other land. We don't have any other storage apart from the memorial wall under the stage. So places in which we can store our equipment for the duration of time which one goes and one comes, we need to know when this is because we have to arrange other times and places to store the stuff, be able to get off-site to the other place, back on-site, back into the new container when the new container arrives. We have limited people who can lend themselves to the cause for various reasons. So really it's kind of pie in the sky. You know, we are trying desperately before the weather goes to get this sorted. And it seems like it's taken more than a year.
Okay, that's fine. Normally we only discuss matters, items on the agenda, but I'm happy to. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But I'm happy to turn to the clerk this evening. Have you got an update for us briefly?
Yes, my understanding was that you were still trying to find somewhere to store the pieces, and I said to you that I didn't want to book the removal of the container until you were certain you had somewhere else to put the stuff that was in it.
But we don't know where we were going to be able to store stuff until such time as you tell us what date, because people aren't willing to just go on, well, when do you want it? Well, we don't know. How long do you want it for? No, we don't know.
Right.
You know, when can you move it in? We don't know.
Okay, I think that's the problem we have. I've been waiting for you to tell me what dates you can do and when you're going to have it clear, and you're waiting for me to tell you a date. So I think there's been a bit of cross purposes there. Can I suggest, because I don't think I've got a contact number for you, can I suggest that you drop me an email with your number, and then I can contact the company for dates, and then I can call you and check, you know, which dates would be best for you, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so because I'm secretary, it's my job to organise it, but I won't be the one there, so I will have to go off to other people to see if they can make themselves readily available,
Okay.
to then get on with it. But
Okay, well, what I'll do then is I'll sort of pencil, I'll get a couple of dates and I'll email those to you, and then if you can get back to me, and we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay, happy with that? Is that right? Good. Okay, Francis?
Yeah.
Would anyone else like to address council?
You can go.
Is that right?
Okay.
Okay, you can just state your name for me, that would be great.
It's James Marshall. I'm here to discuss the land at the Meadow. So, just by show of hands, from the councillors, do you know about the status and the history of the land at the Meadow? How many of you know the history and what's happened recently with it?
Do you?
No, but Martin doesn't.
Is this probably in the briefing notes?
Yeah.
Well, I've read those, but
Okay. We do have a new councillor, so if you wish to give us a bit of background, you're more than welcome to.
So I've lived in the village since I was a young teenager with my parents. I moved properly close, and then I've been fortunate enough to move back to the Meadow with my fiancée and our 1-year-old. But before I moved to 22 the Meadow, Simon Bond owned the property, and he maintained the land next to the house to a very high standard for over 20 years. He didn't have a right to cultivate, and there was no issues from the council. Unfortunately, Paul passed away, and that's when I bought the property. So at the time, I requested pretty much the first month moving in the council to in the land. This was turned down with no real reason. I think the reason at the time was it may set a bad precedent. There's no policies on selling land, and it is very common for councils to sell small pieces of land, given the fact that it costs money and resources to maintain. So this has happened over the years. I've requested to buy the land, and there's been some back and forth from the council stating they don't want to sell the land, but they also have no interest in maintaining it or keeping it up to a high standard. So this is where I stopped contact with the council and just started maintaining it myself, which was evident that the council were not coming out to deal with it. So the most recent events are that the ground staff have taken it upon themselves to throw whatever was on that land onto my driveway. So I've recently had a driveway done. I spent almost £10,000 on a brand new driveway to come home from work and find that everything that was on that land thrown onto my driveway. So as I put to the council last week, I just want to ask you all, if that was your driveway and your land when you come home from work on a Thursday evening, and you see that it's just a complete disregard of the person who owns that property, how would you feel and how would you react to that? It's disappointing that the chair isn't here today, because he put this forward for it to be discussed. I didn't ask for it to be put forward. I went to him personally and asked him his personal thoughts on selling parish land before I put in a request to purchase it. I didn't get a reply back. I just saw that it was on the agenda. But subsequently, your grounds team have come out and then done that. So the period of events that have happened show that the council have done this as a bit of retaliation, and it's now left me, there's no belief in this council at all that there will be a fair hearing, which is why I'm here today. I shouldn't be here right now. I should be at home putting him to bed. I should be cooking my fiancée dinner. But I have no faith that this is going to be a fair conversation. why the events have happened, because I still haven't had any response from that. That happened on Thursday. I expected a response on Friday. That didn't happen. I was told that I would get a response after the investigation, but we're now on Wednesday, and we still haven't had a response. So I am in a bit of a predicament here, because I need a response from the council before I go to the police and involve them, and then action court proceedings against the council. So this is why I'm here today, to get some answers before we escalate.
Okay. Do councillors have any questions before I respond?
I'd like to know about the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to know?
So why erect it? How long has it been there? What purpose does the fence have?
So the fence has been there for many, many years, across from the front of the drive all the way to the bush. So when the house was sold, the council, it had been there for many years before that with no issues at all, but for some reason once the house was sold, the council demanded that the fence be cut back at the boundary, which was done by the previous owner. So that fence was then cut back and then left on the land. So that just left a piece of fence from the front of my driveway to the land boundary, and then once the driveway was done, my team of the team that done the driveway pulled it down and threw it away. So anything that was left on the land was already there. So I appreciate there was a bit of fencing around it, and that was to stop teenagers and youths going in there, because there has been an increase of them going in there, throwing things over the wall into my garden. So it's got to the point where it's not being maintained by the council. I've got problems with the youth going in that area, and nothing's being done. So for me, that fence went up, and then we haven't seen any problems since.
So can I ask what in the meadow, do other people have fences like this?
So what I did miss out was that I did provide you all a signed document from 90% of the residents in that cul-de-sac saying that they're happy for that land to be sold. They thought it was already belonged to me if they didn't already know. So they thought, well, if it's not yours, then happy for it to be sold, it's not being maintained. I did go wider, because at the time of giving you that document, the council said that it's more of a wider community that we service, not just that cul-de-sac. So I've spoken to other people, Jack if they lived in Denmead, happy for the land to be sold. As other members of the community, I've said that I could provide a bigger petition to say that we can sell it. I just don't think it's necessary, given the conversations we're having. The now managed that the council have done to put that on my driveway, is complete disregard. I just don't think we need to be having this conversation when it's a very simple process.
I guess for me, moving away from it, from what the issue with the grounds is that there are multiple pockets of land like this, on the Percy Building estate.
Absolutely.
And they were designated for the parish and for things. Unfortunately, I would say that the grounds team can't upkeep everything, but that doesn't mean for me that it's a given that people will cultivate that piece of land just like that and think that there's a right to sell and purchase it. So that's where that's why I was asking about the precedent set with your neighbours.
And I agree, and there's no policy within Denmead Parish Council not to sell land, and it should be done on a case-by-case basis. There needs to be an understanding on why is it being sold, how is that going to benefit the community, and also the council themselves with your resource. And I think this evidence is that the council are not interested in it. When I originally came here, your head groundsman at the time said that they have no interest in maintaining it. It has no monetary value, which is why I've pursued this so much, because it is clear that it is just a burden on the council. And when I come to the council with the issues, it just stirs up so many problems that the council want to try and argue with me about it, but also not actually maintain it or deal with it. So there has to be a give and take, and I
do take your point. I do take your point. And I think you put your views very sort of clearly. So thank you for that.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Any other questions at all from councillors? No? Okay, sorry about that. So I can only apologise for the offence last week. The ground staff were under instruction. I understand that that's been addressed at the moment by the parish clerk about what happened last week. In regards to land, what we have around the village, parcels of land, they are maintained once a year. This will include your parcel of land. I understand also perhaps you were offered a licence to cultivate, but perhaps didn't accept that. May I just ask the reason why perhaps you didn't?
Because the land is majority trees, and the rules are I can't cut the trees. So that is, so I can cut the grass, but I can't cut the trees. So it then became a point of, well, if I can't do a full job on it, why would I do any job on it? And my point is that if you came out once a year, I don't think that's enough. But the reality is that your ground staff don't maintain it once a year. I've messaged back and forth. I can see that you want to say something, Francis, but the reality is that you don't. If I don't message you, you will not come out. It's as simple as that. Right now, my back garden is a complete mess because of the trees. So, you know, it's blocking my drainage, and the response I got from that last year is, well, if you've got a problem, you can claim on my insurance. And how is that acceptable to a member of the public that's trying to take away a problem that you have? So,
Okay. Thank you. It is obviously coming up later on the agenda, but to help us a little bit later on, if you were offered the licence to cultivate again for a third time, would you consider accepting it, or would you not? Just to help us later on, perhaps.
no, so I believe that I should be able to do a full job on land. The only way to do that is to own the land. And concerns were raised about building on the land, and I understand that. If you wanted to put any covenant on the land not to build on it, that's fine. Put that on there and put it up for sale, no problem. And I understand as well that if you put it up for sale, it may not be sold to me, it needs to go to the general public. I completely understand all of the rules behind it. It's just, for me, mind-blowing that it's common practice across all other councils, but then the parish council don't see the benefit on this one piece of land. I can't see it. I spoke to many people across Denmead and other councils, and they don't understand it either. So I don't understand how we're here. The small majority of people say no, but the large majority of people don't understand why we're not actually going ahead with it. That's one.
Okay. If that's it for now, yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's fine. Okay. Would anyone else like to address council? You can just state your name for Francis.
Keith Lambert, I'm the treasurer of Denmead Bowling Club, and I know the items on the agenda, and I don't want to influence any discussions that you might have, other than to put in some timescale to it. I first approached the council in July 24, subsequently sent in letters after a visit from two of the councillors on their recommendation, and that was in November 24. It was discussed in committee, your committee, with predecessors in January, and appeared in the minutes for that meeting. We then waited until March, when the next meeting was, to have those minutes agreed and settled. Also, when we had that meeting with the two councillors, they suggested that we didn't delay, but actually apply for some grants relating to the work that we ought to do. We are now almost successful in obtaining those grants. We're essentially, just to cut things as short as possible, we're trying to put some new changing rooms in. They're going to cost about £9,000. We can get a grant for £3,000, and I can advise you as treasurer that I can bring the other money to make that happen. And we're not asking for money from the parish council. We're trying to enhance the facilities and we're trying to enhance the facilities for the community, not just for ourselves, because we do a fair amount for the community. And the problem is that I feel it's got stuck. It may well, I put it down to changing council, because that's an obvious thing I can put it on. But since January of this year, we haven't heard anything. Councillors Clay and Scallard came to visit a couple of weeks ago, and that effectively put us back to where we were in November 2024. So we're a year behind, and we've got no grants. We are going to lose that grant. It's taken us 2 years to gather the funds to support what we want to do. What we've asked for is, we've actually asked for 4 things. 2 of those are to do with the lease, and we accept that takes time. You need to take advice, which I believe has already been taken. We're quite happy at the moment to forego that, because it doesn't really make much difference. It will do in a year's time. But currently, we'll lose the grant. It will be 2 years to get that money. It'll be another year before the grants are available again. So we're looking at 3-4 years for something that effectively only needs the council permission. And currently, we're just asking for that permission. At the January meeting, there are no objections, and that's how it was left. But that's as far as it's got. And we're in a desperate situation that basically all our aspirations are built around those 4 things coming together. And if the first thing fails, then we're wasting our time. So what I'm asking for is that when you have your deliberations later on, that you bear in mind the time scales. If we don't get some kind of response from the council, then you will commit that building to be placed on the land, then we'll just have to all leave, because it's all built together. It's not something you can do by the time. What I'm asking for, or what I'm suggesting, is that perhaps you investigate the logic of whether it be a letter of intent or a memorandum of understanding. If you can't come to an agreement and produce a letter that we can then produce to the grants committee, then we've lost. And
Okay.
to be perfectly honest, it's down to the procrastination that's gone on. So I'm asking for further action, please.
Okay, thank you. As councillors are aware, it is coming up later on the agenda, but for now, is there any more questions?
No.
Councillors happy? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not a step yet, but it's very positive.
Okay, thank you, Keith, for now. But yes, we'll address that later on in the agenda. If that's all. Any other members of the public? Paula?
Paula Lancashire. I would just like to ask a few questions about item 10.1 on the agenda, the BMX park. Is that part of, so the agenda item is to upgrade and replace the BMX park? I know council's just spent a significant amount of money replacing all of the boards on 4 pieces of the equipment, so to increase the longevity of the facility. But has council amended its strategy to replace the skate park, because that wasn't in the currently adopted strategy? That's my first question. My second question is, are you planning to undertake any consultation with members of the public? Because I know that Councillor Ranger at the council meeting of the 4th of September said that a lot of consultation will be taking place with members of the public for various projects. And my final question is about budget. I know that the report mentions the skate park at Swanmore, and I don't know if you're aware of the cost of that skate park. It was was they also did a running track, but the cost was £430,000. And I know that this council does not have anything like that kind of money. So that's my 3 questions. Thank you.
Okay. The first one, the strategy. I would know, Francis, do we have an idea on that? No?
No, that'd be full council.
That would be full council. I can find out and obviously reply back to you in the coming weeks to then answer to that one. As for public consultation, we will be doing that. If council decides that this is something they want to move forward, we'll address the members of the public to ask them for their input, their opinions and their views. And as for funding a project, if it does go ahead, yes, we, as Councillor Stellard and I, we did go around a few places and we did realise that they are quite expensive. But we were going to use what's coming up later on in the agenda just to help model something perhaps a little bit smaller that fits Denmead more better than Swanmore's newest development, which is quite a good one, but it's quite expensive. So yeah, it's something to base our ideas on, but yeah, we can feed back to them.
On the bowling clubs, because I've been liaising with them,
Sure.
just to say that they are temporary wooden structures that they're planning on putting in. They're not looking at building concrete or brick buildings or anything, but just for information.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Any other questions from members of the public? No? Ian?
Sorry, Ian Brown.
Ian.
Thanks. Just a thought that's come to me. As you know, I'm a member of Bill Bowman. I've not come here to speak on their behalf. But there's 2 containers that are owned by the parish council in the car park. Is there potential that there's room in those containers for the equipment for the Bill Bowman to be moved across while the containers are swapped? I know you can't answer that.
No.
Because you don't know at that point.
Is that a conversation we can have, perhaps? We're going, Francis. Go
I
ahead.
can actually answer that because I asked Sam that question today in the office. Because I was thinking of ways, because the last email I had from you was that you're concerned you couldn't leave it out overnight. There may be is the answer, depending on how much space you need, which I think is another way forward. I thought was to a site visit between somebody from the Bill Bowman and or Denmead Archery, as it now is,
Yes.
and somebody and one of the ground staff, so you could look at what space there is available there.
I mean, there's a lot
Because
of,
it would be, hopefully, it would just be overnight.
yeah, there's a lot of boxes with bows in, very shallow boxes, and that's against the back shorter wall of the container, as it were. And a lot of rubbish has gone in dribs and drabs in cars, etc. But I think their biggest concern is the bigger, bulkier equipment. And we have a couple of targets on wheels that are made of layers of foam. I think there's 2 of those that would have to be housed, and they won't fit in the other container. I'm trying to think what else is in there at the moment. There's a couple of cabinets I think they're hoping to get rid of, so they will go out for rubbish. I think the biggest things are the foam targets and the grass line machine. But the rest,
Okay.
shoving corners.
Okay, thank you.
Just one other thing,
Yes.
sorry. On the land of the meadows, if council is minded to sell it, will it be widely notified that the land is up for sale for other potential purchasers of the land?
Right. Francis?
We would have to comply with Section 72 of the Local Government Act 19, whatever it was. So it would go out to public. There would be a public notice, and bids would then be invited.
Thank you.
Anything further? No?
Sorry,
No?
thank you.
Okay. In that case, I'll close the public participation, which went on for more than 15 minutes. I should have asked council if they were happy with that. Apologies. Not happy, were you? See, you went over my time. Oh dear. Okay, item 5 on the agenda is the matters arising and outstanding matters from the previous meeting. To note, matters arising and outstanding from the previous meeting as items requiring discussion are included in the agenda to note. Okay. Everyone happy? Item 6 on the agenda is the head groundsman report. To note the status report from the head groundsman to note. Have you got a chance to read? Yeah? Everyone happy? Item 7 on the agenda is licences, cultivation plot licence, to consider the report from the amenities clerk regarding the non-cultivation of a cultivation plot at River End to consider and determine action. Francis, did you want to give a little...
Basically, this gentleman was given a plot, or rather he was signed a cultivation plot licence partway through the year 24-25. He didn't do any cultivation. He renewed his licence in April 24 and still has done nothing. No, sorry, April 25, early this year. And he still has done nothing with it. I have written to him asking him to cultivate it. He hasn't done so.
Okay.
In my letter I did advise him that I would be re-inspecting, and if it hadn't been cultivated I would bring it to committee to consider terminating his licence.
We've got a bit of a waiting list, I understand.
We have a waiting list of 9 people at the moment, and the person at the top of the list joined the list in April 2022.
So they've been waiting
And she
a
is
while,
champing at the bit.
Okay. So open to discussion. Councillors, how do you feel about this one?
I think it's no-brainer. I think we've been given many opportunities to... have we actually physically put a note through his door?
He's had email and letter.
Do you think just sort of belt and braces it would just literally post a letter through his door, and and if we don't have a response within or see some action on the plot for 7 days, then we go straight for it. I just think then that's one last opportunity that we've given him.
Thank you, Councillor, because I'm of the mindset to actually terminate it with immediate effect. I think we've given him enough notice. We've tried to contact him several times. Obviously, he got the plot for a reason, but has done no work or no effort to maintain it. So I think we should...
Have we had any response from him?
No, we haven't, no. No. So I'd like to make a proposal that we do terminate it and we give it to the member that's been waiting a few years.
Person top of the list.
Yeah. So that would be my proposal, that we terminate and offer it to the next one waiting on the list.
Do we have a seconder?
Not a second. Okay, all in favour of that proposal, put your hands up.
Yeah.
Okay, that was unanimous. Okay, Francis, is that okay for action? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Item 8 on the agenda, areas of open space. Item 8.1, Heathfield fences. To note that this matter has been referred to full council. That is to note. Okay. Item 8.2, land at Great Mead. To receive an update report from Councillor Carson regarding the fence on the land owned by Denmead Parish Council to consider and determine action. Obviously, in Councillor Carson's absence, have we all had a chance to have a quick look at her report? Okay, and what is Councillor's feelings on that? Any input? No? Obviously, this bit of land, Mrs. Elliott fully accepts that the gate is part of our land and has been moved and the fencing added, and it sits on Parish Council owned land. There is a few concerns from Miss Elliott regarding the fact that if we do the mindset to remove it, she expressed concern about some of the thin areas of hedging and how this might impact future security and what we may do if we decide to ask for it to be removed, of what we could do to secure that area. My views, I had a few recommendations. The fence on DPC land is removed within 6 weeks. That the head's groundman select some hedging plants from the nursery to thicken the existing hedge. If available, these will be evergreens. I also go on to say that DCP maintain the inner edge of the hedgerow from the removed panel and along the remainder of the accessible hedge and cut the grass as per mowing schedules, but advise Miss Elliott that if she wishes, she can continue to mow in between. That would be my recommendations, which I'm happy to make into a proposal if any other councillor doesn't have anything to add.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, I'm happy to make those recommendations into a proposal.
Second.
So councillors are happy 6 weeks that we give notice. I did originally say 28 months, but I think I've changed it, if you don't mind, 6 weeks. A bit of leniency, if that's right for the lady.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had a second to the proposal. Can I have a show of hands all in favour of that proposal? That's unanimous. Thank you. Happy with that, Francis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Item 8.3, ditches and balancing pond at Creech View. To consider a response received from the Environmental Agency to consider and determine action. So have you all read the report from John from the Environmental Agency? John is trying to find a solution to this. Obviously the ongoing flooding, some of the piping. So reading from his report, I am of the mindset to go back to him, say, in about 6 months to see if he's found a solution and then bring it back to council. Unless other councillors have any ideas or input or views.
Sorry, nobody specifies what the flooding issue is?
This is Creech View, and when the flood system was put in place, it's a system of ditches and balancing ponds. The runoff, the Environment Agency now think that the runoff from the new estate was underestimated. Was underestimated, and so the system that is in there would work for the amount of runoff they had estimated there would be. Unfortunately, it is much higher than that, which means that we reach a point where the balancing pond gets full and the narrow pipe coming out of the balancing pond to stop the lower down houses flooding means that it backs up and the houses above the balancing pond flooded 2 years ago. They didn't flood last year, they flooded 2 years ago. And the Environment Agency is trying to work out a solution. They don't want to just put in a bigger pipe, because if they put in a bigger pipe coming out, it pushes the problem down the stream and the people further down will flood. So they and the parish council both maintain the ditches to keep them clear so they run. And they have changed the gates on some of the pipes to try and stop debris blocking those. But the actual the solution will be an engineering one, and they're in the process of working that out.
Thank you, Francis. So I'd like to make a proposal that we go back to them, or we touch base with them again in 6 months, if council's happy with that.
It's just a worry, isn't it, that it's going to flood again?
See how it is in the morning.
Yeah, because, you know, I think 6 months is a long time to, if you're a
You can make your own proposal if you want to.
well,
Don't have to go with mine.
If you're a resident and you're downwind to that pipe, you know, sort of 6 months is a long time, isn't it? So, I don't know, so any measuring, going back to John and ask if it can be a little bit sooner.
Francis?
The residents who are affected by the flooding are directly in contact with the Environment Agency.
Oh, are they? Yeah. So I guess if something happened, they would be straight on it anyway. Francis, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they would contact the Environment Agency.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, it's important. You know, some of the rain that we've had is not insignificant. Yeah, I agree. I think we have to wait 6 months, but I would be encouraging John to come up with a solution quicker than 6 months.
Okay. Do you agree, do you?
I still semi-agree, but yes, I agree. Yeah.
Right. So is that a second?
Yeah.
Do you second my proposal?
Squeezed it out of me, yeah. Just about.
Okay, so the proposal
It's
is...
sort of like half. It's half.
Okay, is that...
Sorry, can
yeah,
I...
go ahead.
In light of that, why 6 months? Why wouldn't we review it 2 years since it just started raining. I mean, it's been very dry for the last 6 months.
I think it's because the period of time it's been going on for as well, hasn't it? It's been going on for ages. So
The only thing I would be doing is contacting John and saying, have you found a solution yet?
Right.
Because there's nothing physically that we can do.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that if we leave it 6 months, it just looks like there isn't an issue there. Whereas if we ask him in 3 months, it doesn't look like we've dropped the ball, is my point.
okay.
Well, half a proposal, see? It's a bit more. I do agree with Councillor Selwyn. I do agree. I do think that there needs to be a much prompter response from John.
Okay, I agree. Therefore, I will amend my proposal, because it's already been seconded, to change it to 3 months. So I'll withdraw my proposal. I'll withdraw my proposal and make another new proposal that we go back, we leave it for 3 months, and then we give them a nudge after 3 months.
A strong nudge.
A strong nudge.
Nudge, Francis.
Fine, that will take us into very wet months.
It will.
Bit of ammunition there. Okay, fine. So that's my new proposal, 3 months period.
I second that, Councillor.
You second it. Right, can I have a show of hands all in favour of the new proposal? That is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you. Right, okay, moving on to item 8.4 on the agenda, which is Harvestfield footpath, to consider the state of the footpath at Harvestfield, to consider and determine action. So, you've all got them, you've all seen them. So, members of the public, that's Harvestfield footpath at the moment.
I'd like to kick off the conversation.
Councillor Vickers, yes.
I think I walk that quite regularly,
Yeah, I thought-
and to a friend's home actually, and it's not in a good state at all.
Okay.
I do believe that we need to.
We are looking at the ground staff getting some granite chippings to fill in. If council is happy with that.
I'm not. I think it needs a much more permanent fix.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I walk it every day. I walk it really regularly, and it's not good. I think you're just cobbling together something. It's a pathway that it links, one bit of the village to the other bit. It's used a lot. Harvestfield is used a lot.
Okay.
I don't think putting some chippings and some granite in is going to actually be a great solution. I don't think it's cost effective.
Heads ground was recommended, isn't he? So I'm happy to. Do any other councillors have any comments?
So it's cracked because it's dry, or it has dried out over the last 6 months. And if this rain continues, maybe it'll squish back together.
It's too big a pan.
Yes. I don't know.
We've got this.
Granite clippings, no, we've done it before, but
Did
don't
it
know
work?
that, well, we've got new cracks this year.
Okay.
Yes, we don't have budget.
Getting some quotes to,
Hmm?
Is there any merit in getting some quotes to get a more permanent, better fix?
We've done the granite filling before. It doesn't last forever.
It
We
doesn't.
could do it as a temporary fix if you would like us to go out for quotes. We're more than welcome to.
I don't want it as a temporary fix. I don't think it's going to be a temporary fix for very long. I think it's just wasting money.
I think
It needs to be a
I think
permanent fix.
considering the cracks and how badly they are, I think we need to fill them quite quickly, and the granite might be a way forward to getting that done ASAP.
But
And then we could
my
look.
point being, Councillor Clay, is that if we do that, then that becomes the fix, doesn't it? That temporary fix becomes a longer fix, and then it doesn't actually become a fix.
Okay.
Because it just becomes, it's done, and people think it's done, but actually it's not done. It's not done properly, is it? And that's where we fall up with our pathways because we don't fix them properly. So I'm minded to ask for 3 quotes and to get it fixed properly.
Okay. Do you want to make that a proposal?
I make that as a proposal.
Okay.
To get 3 quotes and to execute a more thorough and proper fix.
Do we have a seconder or a proposal different?
That's it. That's fine, but you know.
Okay, I will second that. I will.
Thank you.
But by doing so, we're going to have to. I should imagine we're going to have to fence all this off because it's known to us that there is trip hazards. Correct.
If it's a health and safety issue, yes.
I think so.
It is a well-used path. There
Mhm.
will be some descent.
So we're going to get this done really, really quickly. There's a matter of
Well,
urgency, I should think, which is
think
why
when
I was.
Where are we getting the budget?
Yes.
We have to talk to Jenny, don't we? We have a budget for pathways, so don't we, Francis?
Yes, but it won't be enough to do that.
So I thought perhaps the granite would be a better.
I'm
Temporary
not,
fix.
How temporary is temporary, is my view.
Temporary enough to make it safe for foot.
But it's going to have to come back to full council anyway, isn't it? Because it's significant. It's up to you. You know, it can be a temporary fix, but knowing that we've done temporary fixes before and those temporary fixes have lasted too longer than they should have done. I'm just very mindful that it needs to be done properly and speedily.
Just ask the clerk, how long was the last one that we did? Do you definitely know how long ago it was? Because I'm not familiar with granite or how long it lasts.
It was done over a year ago.
It's weather dependent as well though, isn't it? It's like potholes.
I don't know. It's something the head groundsman would know.
I don't know enough about it to make a proper view, but all I would like it to be recorded that if it is a temporary fix, it is temporary, and that quotes do go out, and we do, to the RFO about making it more permanent and making it a proper fix.
Okay. I have seconded your proposal. What do you want to do?
Well, you're going to have to withdraw it. If it is the only bit that worries me in fencing all of that off is that is a real well-used path between 2 bits of the village, and it's a nice green open space. Children play on it. People walk their dogs on it. It's a link, for the pub, the harvest. People walk through to it. So it would be a massive thing if it was closed for any length of time. So I do take your point that there has to be a temporary fix. My point being is that temporary fix doesn't last 5 years, and that is a fix, because it's not.
But even if we do something more permanent and we do something like, and then we fence that off with, that's a large bit of path, we don't have the
People
budget.
walk on the grass,
Yeah.
and the grass gets really boggy on the harvest field, especially when we're having loads of rain. I don't think there's an easy solution, but I think if that is I can see that it will have to be a temporary fix, but what I'm saying is that temporary fix is not going to be the fix.
No.
We have to seek funding from the RFO to get this sorted properly.
Perhaps we should stop calling it a fix, call it a mitigation.
Yeah, we call it just, it's making it safe for this current time.
Okay.
I think that's very wise actually, because it isn't a fix.
So your proposal, which I've seconded, was to go away for 3
I'll
quotes.
retract it then.
Okay. Would you like to make a new proposal? You've withdrawn it.
Yeah.
Would you like to make a new proposal?
So my proposal is that we put some granite down in the interim
Mhm.
while seeking 3 quotes for a more permanent fix, and we seek the advice of the RFO in doing so regarding budget.
That's very good. I'll second that. That was good.
Thank you.
It's all right. Do we have a show of hands all in favour of the proposal? You all right, Francis? All
Yeah.
right? Okay. Thank you, Councillor Vickers. Okay. Item on the agenda 8.5, land at the Meadows, to consider a request by a resident to purchase land at the Meadow to consider and determine action. So, as we heard from the member of the public earlier, we've had a bit of a background on it. Following that, and what we've got in front of us, what does councillors feel about this item?
This is difficult for me because I do completely accept your point about the fact that there's land there and it's not cultivated and looked after to a standard that you would wish. But my worry is that precedents and those pieces of land they were gifted to the Denmead community as pieces of land that were left to be just cultivated by the council. I think it sets a precedent. If you sell one plot off, and we would have to notify legally that, and floodgates may come well open or they might stay well closed. You don't know. But everybody will have a different view as to how they cultivate that land and what they put on it. So, I think when the estate was built, it was built with a, theme in mind. Everybody potentially could do something different with a piece of land that they purchased. And I think that is my problem with it. So it's difficult because I think we should upkeep it to a better standard, and I completely accept your point about it. There are lots of pieces of this land that are around the village. I'm not too happy about the fence. I don't think the fence should have even been put there. But again, that's something that's happened years ago. It's a difficult, like I say, it is a difficult one. But I do think that floodgates will open, and there's a lot of pieces of this land around the village. What do other councillors think?
Any other councillor wish to input? No. As a rule of thumb, normally council, the parish does not give away parcels of land. As you said earlier, it is case by case, and exceptional circumstances would we ever consider giving parcels of land away. We do like to treasure the land we've got, and we haven't got much around Denmead as it is. I think our land is 17%, or something around that figure. It's very, very low, so we do like to hold on to it. And as Councillor Vickers has already stated, it will give precedence to other parcels of land if we start allowing 1 case, 2 case, 3 case come forward and we start giving it away. I can only apologise to what happened last week with the fence, but the ground staff were instructed to take that.
I think I noted that on item 8.4,
Hang on, sorry.
on item 8.4, Councillor Vickers has run our own agenda on that last point.
Okay.
Looking at this lady here as if
Okay, but then, okay, I have to stop. Sorry, I'm going to have to.
I need it noted.
Okay. Okay, can I just stop you just briefly? The public session has stopped.
Yeah.
It was earlier, so.
The public in a public meeting. So
Okay, but you.
The But what I've
Okay,
just-
sorry, sir. Sorry,
on that point,
sorry, sir. I must ask you to refrain for a few moments, if I can be allowed to speak.
it's absolutely
If I can be allowed to speak, please.
Carry on.
I would be happy to open the public session so councillors can address you once more, but the public session was earlier when I gave you the opportunity to speak, and we asked that this is our time now to address matters of the agenda.
That's
So-
absolutely disgraceful. So I'll be raising that, and your points of precedent mean absolutely nothing.
You are more than welcome to do so, but this is our time now to discuss the agenda. I can.
Things happening here, and it needs to be called out for what it is.
Okay.
You are
You're more than welcome to. I can only apologise, but this is the way council runs its business and its matters. We have to follow an agenda. I'm
You
sorry.
don't have any law. Like, you don't follow the rules.
We have not yet come to a decision. The matter is still open.
There was no.
We are discussing it.
Councillor Vickers has made it clear that she's been running this whole meeting this whole time.
Okay. Sorry, sir. If you're going to be rude, I'm going to have to ask you to. I'm going to have to. Councillor Vickers, as well as any councillor here, is entitled to their view and opinion, and we come to council to express that. Okay, I'm going to have to stop you there. Ask you to leave, so because we do need to carry on with council business.
So I can stand there and tell you what's happening here, which is absolutely disgraceful.
Okay, I'm not going to take this any further. So I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Councillor Vickers, you were saying, or had you come to an end?
Finish.
Members of the public, I do apologise for that. Sometimes it does get hard to control a meeting when members of the public speak freely, so I can only apologise. Sorry, Councillor Vickers, you were going on?
No, I wasn't.
Are you finished?
Yeah, I finished.
Do any other councillors have any input? No. So as I've just briefly gone through, we don't like to give away parcels of land. It would set precedent. It's only in exceptional circumstances would we do so. So with that in mind, and if council follows the same mindset, I would like to make a proposal that we don't give this land away.
No.
It's ours, I'm afraid. Sorry, Francis, you were trying to
Yes. You keep saying give it away.
give it away. Sorry, not giving anything
Sell it.
away.
You asked
Sell
to
it.
purchase
Sell
it.
it. Yeah. So we're not going to put it up for bidding or selling. So and I think we also need to address.
I think we need to address
That-
It's bound to go up again, isn't it?
The fence is not on the agenda, so we cannot discuss and make a
Okay.
decision. It is
Okay.
being dealt with by the parish clerk. But to update you, the fence has been removed,
Okay.
so it cannot go up again.
Cannot go up.
Yes,
should
we,
not go up?
we were asked to remove it from the land, so we have removed it from the land.
Okay.
So it's completely removed.
It's completely off the site.
Yeah. It's put on there.
Well, that's what was on his drive.
That was on.
Right,
That was.
okay.
I thought that I didn't understand what was on his drive. That's the bit I
Right, yeah,
didn't
the grounds,
understand.
they're instructed to go and take it down,
So,
and because they believed it was his, they left it on his property
oh, so
to
it
deal
wasn't
with.
like, so it was suggested that there was rubbish, but it was his.
No, they
it
wouldn't
was
have just.
his.
They wouldn't have just.
No, it was his thing. Okay.
Because it keeps going up all the time. We take it down, it goes back up.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more made aware now. Didn't realise what was done to his drive.
Okay. So we object to the request for purchase of land. That's my proposal. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Stallard, all in favour? Show of hands. Thank you.
I do think we have to have a clear paragraph narrative about that, Francis, because if he does, it makes his intentions clear.
The notes of the public's behaviour. Are we allowed to do that?
I
No.
shall see what I can do.
Just for future reference, perhaps.
One of the gentleman's points was that Denmead Parish Council has no policy regarding land sales. Is that true? Or did we just make one?
No. Is legislation? Yes. There is legislation. Okay. Thank you. So moving on to item 9 on the agenda, trees and hedges. Item 9.1, tree claims. To note that the remaining outstanding claim has been closed due to the lack of response from the claimant. To note, do you wish to say anything, Francis?
I would like to just
Go
say
on then.
that in the 6 years that I've worked for this parish council, we have had 11 tree claims, and the only one that was successful was before I joined the council. But all the rest we
6
have
years.
managed to fight successfully.
There you go. There you go.
So there we
Okay.
go. I'm quite proud of that.
Right. Item 10, play areas. 10.1, BMX Park, to consider the report received from Councillors Clay and Stannard regarding the replacing of the BMX Park at Ashling Park, to consider and determine action. So did you all have a chance to read our report, Councillor Stannard and mine? We visited a few local community areas, neighbouring community areas, and what they've done with their skate parks or BMX parks or multifunctional parks, however they want to call them. We engaged with a lot of youth groups and asked them what they would like to see in Denmead, and we asked some of the youth groups that were already using these surrounding neighbouring, like Newlands and Swanmore, how they were finding their equipment, and the feedback was that the youth, they're looking for BMX, skateboard, scooters, so they're after a multi-functioning facility rather than one specific genre, either BMXing or skateboarding. And R1 is coming to the end of its life. It has had a lot of repairs done to it. So this was our opportunity to look to see if we could do something different, if we wanted to go down that line. And if you've seen, and as you can see from some of the photos, from the supporting documents, that is some of the local areas, Newlands, Wickham and Swanmore, of what they've done, of which look very, very nice. And as pointed out earlier, it's very, very expensive. But that just gives us an idea of what we could model ours on if council is of the mindset to do something different rather than repair and replace the one we already have. Councillors? Any opinions, any views? What you want to do?
Yeah.
What we should do?
The skate park at Swanmore is lovely, but we haven't got £500,000.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
The one thing I do recall is when the skate park was first put in, a lot of residents complained about the noise it generated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that should be kept in mind if a replacement is on the cards.
Yes, the type of material. We did see one, Councillor Stannard, didn't we? It's almost like an impact one. It's not on here. It's almost made of like a rubber which takes in some of the noise. It absorbs some of the noise. It's like recycled materials, compound or something. That's not on here. Sorry, Councillor, go on.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, this is great, fine, but what is proposed? What budget do we have?
Actually, I'm not sure what budget. Francis, what budget would we have for something like this? What?
At present, we have £20,000, I think it is, in the skate park repairs.
I guess a ramp. They can take off something.
That would get us approximately 7 ramps, but
Right.
only the actual boards.
Right, which make noise.
So it would probably have to be done through a funding
Funding.
initiative,
Seal?
possibly.
Possibly.
That's for the council. That's for the committee or the council rather to decide.
I think
Right.
I think it's on the school council.
Sorry?
I think it needs to go back to school council because I think that it is such a lot of money. It's such a lot of money.
It's
It's
beyond
such a, and it's about community engagement, finding out what actual people want. I think it's
This takes us back.
I think it's such a big project to look at that. You know, it needs much more consideration than this committee. I think it needs a proper. So I would propose that it goes back to full council.
Okay. I was of the mindset that if this committee is happy to look at modelling a skate park on something we've already seen or something similar, then we would then take that back to full council of how we present that to the village to ask for their feedback and their views. In the meantime, we could look at funding and how we could do that. If committee wanted to go down this route or something, road or something new rather than.
More eyes on this than just us. I believe there should be input and eyes on this than just it's a big amount of money to spend.
Okay.
So I would be far happier if it went back to full council for a lot more discussion.
To discuss some of the notes already raised this
Yeah.
evening.
To discuss some of the options that have been put forward and to get other people's input, particularly the new councillors. I think it's worth new eyes on it.
Fine.
Not that I want to kick it down the road, because I think the skate park is something that is really important, but it's important not to, £20,000 and buy some balls when we're thinking about maybe completely remodelling it. I just think.
Yeah, Councillor Clay, you mentioned that it was nearing the end of its life. How's near the end of its life?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Our one's been repaired quite a few times, I believe, and it's running out of, every time you stick a new board out, they're running out of places where they can...
Hard to secure it.
Yeah, and this probably presents itself as an opportunity, 5 years, this presents us as an opportunity to look perhaps ahead of what we could do, rather than keep doing what we're doing now. So if that was a proposal to take it to full council to explore it further, and some of the points we've raised this evening.
Yeah, I think this is
I'm happy to
relevant
do that.
and good, and I think it's a starting point for discussion, but I think it needs a lot of real thinking about it, because it's going to be a
Okay.
massive outlay project.
Okay, I'm
I
happy
think we
to...
have to be mindful of the fact that it is community budget, and it's, and also the community engagement, we haven't heard from the community what they want to do.
My view, I will give you my view, is I think something of what we've seen here in the supporting documents from neighbouring communities, we could model ourselves on something similar to this, to do something new that supports a multifunctional play area for all BMX, scooters, rollerblading or whatever.
It's just people, they want a pump track, don't they?
And I think it's a good idea that we should ask members of the public as well to ask their feedback to whether or not they want it, and we should engage, as me and Councillor Stella did with some of the youth, we could do that. I think that's a project for full council, perhaps, if you do feel that. So.
I don't, because I think when council did the skate park, there was a lot of dissent. I think, and a lot of angst about it, and so I do think that we need to properly engage the community in this next stage of its life. Full council's only 4 weeks away.
Okay, I second that proposal then. Yeah. Do we have a show of hands that we...
Sorry, what was the proposal?
Take it back to the
Councillor
council to have a further discussion about the longer term view situation regarding the skate park. To engage new councillors, to have fresh eyes on it, and to have, it's a lot of money.
Okay, yeah, I think there's 2 good points in that one, actually, yeah, that's fine. So, yeah, we have a proposal, and I've seconded it, so all in favour of going to full council with Councillor Vickers' proposal. It's unanimous. Okay, Francis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, that's good. Okay, 10.2 on the agenda is playground inspections. To note the results of the playground inspections in the summary produced by the amenities clerk. To note. Thank you, Francis. 10.3 playground inspection repairs. To note the ground staff are undertaking the works required by the playground inspections, and that the amenities clerk is obtaining quotes for the works where required. That is also to note, Francis. Item 11 on the agenda is schedule of charges 2026-2027. The draft schedule of charges, to consider the draft schedule for the municipal year 1st of April 26 to the 31st of March 27, to consider and determine action. Okay, so I've already looked at this, and I'm happy just to, the charges that we do at the moment, I'm happy to keep them as they are and just follow the baseline of inflation. I think having our rates quite low sometimes helps encourage outside attraction, people coming in to use our facilities, fields for hire, etc., which then puts us out there as good business. So my mind view is to keep prices as they are and just follow inflation.
Yeah.
Other councillors, are you happy with the charges as they are?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, so my proposal is that we keep the charges as they are and we just follow the inflation figure of 3.8, 3.7, 3.8?
3.8%.
3.8, that's my proposal. Councillor Stallard, second. I have a show of hands, all in favour? That's unanimous, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should have done, I'm sorry. Okay, if council's happy for me to do so, I will now bring the bowling club item 14 on the agenda forward to now. Can I have a quick show of hands, all in favour for me to move the item forward? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll just pass one to each. Thank you. So item 14 on the agenda is the bowling club to consider an update. To consider an update from the Lease Working Party regarding discussions with the bowling club to consider and determine action. So have you all read my and Councillor Stallard's little report?
You've only just given it to them, so
I know.
give them a minute.
Give them a minute. Well, you don't need to. You don't need to know. Just give them a few minutes to catch up. Let me get that one now. Cool.
Yeah, so that clause is going to be deleted.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You read? You happy? Councillor, you happy? Okay, so so a bit of background is myself and Councillor Stallard met with the bowling club recently to discuss coming to an arrangement to paying an annual rent in return for alterations to the lease subject to this committee's approval. Some of those changes you've just read. Do we have any comments at all from council regarding some of the alterations that are being requested?
I'm just really curious about the membership, about the taking the clause out about the has to be Denmead residents. So can I ask? Am I allowed to open it up to ask a question?
I can, if you, so you'd like to ask a question,
I would like to ask a question about the proportion of Denmead residents that are in Bowling Green and the proportion that are not.
Okay, fine. So if council is happy, I'll open up the public session again once more so that you can address the member.
Can I just comment first?
Yeah, sure.
Under the lease, they have to have a minimum of 50% Denmead residents. And so that's the clause that we're seeking to delete. So there will be no minimum.
Yeah, that's my curiosity, Francis. I'm just quite interested to know how many
there
are.
are. Okay.
Well, there's two reasons for it, really. One is that the only way that we can become stable and viable, since COVID we've had reduced numbers, the only way we can remain viable is to, one, raise funds through functions, grants and the like, we've done that, and the other way is to increase the membership. At the moment we've got approximately 100 members. I should be able to tell you exactly to explain it. Of that, we are about 50%. I don't know exactly. We've only just got 1,000 new members. And it's the inland revenues means of controlling community amateur sports clubs.
Right.
That's what CAS stands for. And they have guidelines in law, and it's under the Corporate Tax Act. And most of it is really to do with money laundering. But what they're trying to do is bring into control larger sports clubs, so they don't have to pay tax, so they have a charity status without actually being a charity. To become a charity, you have to take on far more onerous obligations. So it's a middle ground. And one of their main things is, and they come down very strongly on it, is that you can't deter based on ethnic background, religion, etc., including location. Now, it's arguable as to how you read it, because it's a guideline, it's not exact. But that's the reason why we've asked for it to be removed rather than reduced. Similarly, if you've got, it was suggested, I'm not totally against it, but I'm not sure this is viable, in that instead of the membership being limited by percentages, that the executive committee is. I see no difference in that, largely because I come from Cranfield, so I'm not original, I'm afraid, but
Fortunate questions are.
yeah, most of
We'll allow you in then.
I'm the interloper, but hopefully bring a lot more to it than I would attract.
Yeah, no.
Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah. It's just interesting that the clause was wanting to be deleted, so that's fine. Thank you for answering that.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Super duper. I'll close the public session then. Thank you, Francis. So just in summary again, so we just made out point 3 on my report was the clause to be deleted, referring to the percentages of the members, and the 4 main issues is to upgrade the utilities and the existing building, which is the outside unit we just discussed. The solar panels installation, change to the lease regarding consumption of alcohol, so this will help support members' meal and tournaments when away teams come to visit. And then clause 4 was relating to the Licensing Act 1964 to be deleted and replaced with appropriate provision taking into account point 5 below, which we've just discussed. So our recommendation from the Lease Working Party is A, consent given to items 1 and 2 on the report above, B, consent to be given to item 3, 4 and 5 above, subject to a simple document being signed by both parties. And then the last one, C, the Parish Council solicitors are asked to prepare a simple document to be entered into by the parties to cover item 3, 4 and 5 on the report and the payment of the annual rent and the subject to the annual increase at the start of each financial year in line with inflation rate from the previous September. So those recommendations I'm happy to make into a proposal.
I'll second.
Your second?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favour of the recommendations from the Lease Working Party report? Put their hand up, please. All in favour? Unanimous. Is that right?
Unanimous. Good.
Yeah. I got there. Thank you. That's. You can stay for the remainder if you wish to, but there we are. Thank you.
I'll drop you an email tomorrow, but basically you can go ahead with your solar panels and your changing rooms.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks. Thanks.
Right.
Okay. Could ask about the hedge, but we'll do that next time. Okay, moving back now to item 12 on the agenda. It's the terms of reference and delegation of authority. Item 12.1 to undertake an annual review of the terms of reference for the Immunities Committee and delegations of authority to the Immunities Clerk to consider and determine action. seat now, isn't it? So, have you all read through the membership in terms of reference and seen some of the recommendations and changes? And are you happy with these, or have any of your own? Good. I have one, which is number 3, chairmanship of committees. Item 3.3, the co-opted persons are not eligible to act as chairman of committee.
Ooh,
Francis,
I know what you're going to say.
Go on.
A co-opted person is a person, not a member. So this is a non-councillor. Because under the terms of reference, you can appoint a non-councillor to the committee as an advisor. And they would be a co-opted person.
I didn't know that.
So members can be chair, but a co-opted person, i.e. a person that is not a councillor, cannot be chair. Hence why it says person, not member. If you look at the rest of it, you'll say they're referred to as members.
Yeah.
You are referred to as members everywhere else.
Okay. I have something else. I'm fine. I didn't know that. Do you know that? Okay, the other change.
If you would like, I'm more than happy to reconsider that for next year's review as to a better way of wording it.
All right.
I think
Okay.
But I'm sure you'll all remember.
I think, well, a year's a long
I just
time.
read it as that's what.
Council. So, like, probably not Francis. Probably put it on there.
Yes, all the other changes, are councillors happy with those? Francis, did you have anything to add about your section? Are you happy with what you put?
No, the only change there is to the delegated powers to me is that I have changed it so that the number 1 now refers to bookings of DPC amenities, which includes all the properties, which would now include the pavilion, because previously I've had to come back to committee each time if somebody wants to book
Just
the
save time
pavilion.
and energy and all that.
And then number 3, which we've discussed this evening, the cultivation plot licences would give me the delegated power to terminate a licence if I've served 2 written warnings and they haven't complied.
You're going to be the cultivation sort of like you'll be there, aren't you? Terminating people's plots.
Oh, and then the last one is something from the last meeting, which was the fly tipping and trespassing. We know had the scaffolding and the skip. It would make a lot.
If you can just go straight ahead,
If I-
because you know what we're going to say, you know the policies and all that. Yeah, fine.
So that's just
Don't need us to do that.
because if somebody puts a skip on a piece of land the day after a meeting,
Yeah.
technically it
You've
would
gotta
come
wait.
back to the meeting for 6 weeks, and then by the time I've written them, post has delivered it, you're 8 weeks down the line. So
Makes perfect sense.
So, no other comments or views. My proposal is
Sorry,
that. Oh, sorry. Yes, sure. Councillor.
Sorry, how long is this delegation for? Is this indefinitely or does it last?
Indefinitely until we choose or wanted to change it.
Until
It
we
stays
want to change
as
it.
until our next review.
it should be reviewed every year.
6. Is
Every
it
year.
6?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So yeah, my proposal is that we accept the recommendations and changes to the membership terms of reference. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Stoward, all in favour? Sorry, you voted.
Sorry, no, just to interrupt, of course, because it's terms of reference, it will have to be, you can approve it here, but it
Goes
will
to
have to
full
go
council.
to full council for
Yeah.
adopting.
Thank you.
Sorry, you can carry on.
So
with
yes,
voting
with that
now.
in mind, committee, your seconded, all in favour? Thank you. So we'll see that one at the next full council in November. Thank you very much. Okay. See you later. Item 13 on the agenda, 8 gates.
That's the call of the traitors, isn't
The
it?
traitors, everyone's. Are you off as well? Are you?
Yeah, thank you very much
That's
for
all right.
accepting the discussion despite not being on the agenda.
Oh, fine.
And thank you for letting us
You're
know.
more than
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Francis will be.
Yes.
Yeah, fine.
But I'm not.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, don't forget your umbrella.
You'll need that.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Have a good evening.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Item 13 on the agenda is gate unlocking lockings. To consider and report the amenities clerk regarding the gate opening and closing. To consider and determine action. Okay. So this is regarding the gates that we own around the village, around the... No.
Right.
Francis, give us a look.
This only relates to the gates at
KGB.
KGV Ashland Park,
Yeah.
where we have, for whatever reason, we have always had the gates opened in the mornings and locked in the evenings at the 3 car parks.
Yeah.
All of those car parks have a second gate into the field. Certainly one has a drop post behind it. I can't recall if the other two do as well. But so there are double gates everywhere. And what used to happen was that over Christmas, because the office is closed, to give the caretaker the same time off as everybody else, we would come to committee and we would decide what dates the gates would remain locked. And so the gates would be locked at midday on Christmas Eve, and then wouldn't be opened again until the day after Boxing Day at the earliest. When I put that on the draft agenda and we had a pre-meeting, Councillor Carson expressed concern that we were locking car parks over Christmas when people would want to turn up with new bicycles and new skateboards, etc., to play in the park. And said that she thought we should just leave them open.
Thank you. So yeah, the free.
Which ones are we talking about?
So the one on Southwark Road, opposite almost the White Hart pub. You've got
Yeah.
the one that comes in. You've got one gate, a second gate. And
Yeah,
you've got...
yeah.
The second one is down Ashling.
There are two down Ashling
There's
Park.
two, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's the tennis club gate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then there's the main Ashling
Which is
Park,
the bigger.
which goes into the play area.
So that's the free around the KGB. So, Francis,
Just to note, the one at Ashling Park also has a height barrier.
it has a height barrier. So that is a preventative.
For
Exactly.
people coming onto
Yeah.
the
So yeah, in the past we have done. My opinion and my view is for this year, perhaps I'd be of the mindset not to lock them, to see how they go,
Can
to
I
see
ask?
what happens.
Can I ask a question? So, is this just a trial to, or is this going to be forever of not looking and unlocking?
No, it's not a trial. So what decision we make?
That's for the committee to
Yeah,
decide.
that's
You
up
could do
to
it as
us.
a trial, or you could
Yeah.
do it permanently.
I for one, see absolutely no merit in locking and unlocking gates. I think it's absolute. I agree with Councillor Carson. I think, the poor person that's doing it every weekend and every day is like, I don't see. We've got barriers that will stop people from camping on our lands. I don't understand. A gate is not going to, if anybody wanted to get in, a gate is not going to be any significant barrier to that. So I do believe that we are constantly chasing our tails with locking and unlocking. On this occasion, I agree with Councillor Carson. I think it's a very sensible solution, long term, not just for Christmas.
Okay. We no longer have members of the public, so I'm happy to do first name terms now and just speak openly. Martin? Any?
I would say it needs to be monitored because there is scope for abuse of parking. Someone just dumps their car there and leaves it there for 2 weeks. And then 3 people do that, and then there's nowhere for anyone to park anyway. But apart from that outlier, I see no reason to, obviously, of a Friday night, it's likely to fill up with the people from the White Hart, but then no one's going to be in the field then anyway, and they'll probably all come back and get their cars in the
following morning.
So
It
really doesn't matter, does
It's
it?
had to try to be called Southwark Road, to be honest. people are allowed to park there. So
Yeah.
I think, like I do take your point, Martin, that if there's a problem, then we're going to have to come back and revisit it. But it's not something that's going to be enshrined in stone. Is it forever, Francis, that we can't ever
No, we can
bring it
up
back
to us.
at any point?
Yeah.
So I think it's a perfectly sensible solution.
For example, if we have the mindset in a few moments to approve that we keep them unlocked,
Forever.
we can bring it back to council in 6 months or this time, next year as we approach, reflecting on how we get through this Christmas period.
Is there an
For example.
opportunity here to stick a notice up to say that we're doing something good for the community and to bring people's attention to it?
Everybody can park.
The parking. Well, we can get onto that in a moment, actually, funny enough.
Yeah,
That comes up in a moment. Danny, what is your thoughts on keeping the gates locked or unlocked?
I'm happy with them open. We've got all other car parks and whatnot that's open all year round, and it's only really that gets locked up, so I don't see an issue with keeping it open.
Francis,
I would just say that if we do keep it open, it's just monitor it, because some people might abuse it and stick their car there and leave it for 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, I thought the same.
It's just monitoring.
So- Okay, we'll go to Francis and then we'll go for a little vote.
If I could point out, we don't have gates on various other car parks, including Barn Green, and we did have a car abandoned at Barn Green, which we then had removed, put notices on it. So even though the ground staff don't specifically monitor the car parks, they do notice when cars have been there for a while.
And like you say, there's other car parks around the village that don't have gates, so if someone wants to, they would just go there. So,
out of interest, are these the only gates we lock in our village?
Yes, they are. The only reason I hesitate is that there is, for those that know Kidmore, there's the main entrance bit in Kidmore where you can, and then there's a second gate through to the back car park. But that gate is permanently locked. It is only unlocked for events. So that's the opposite. These are the only three that we lock.
Gates that we unlock and lock religiously every single day. Right. Okay. That's just a point to note for me.
But again, I would just say that the reason for that, or one of the reasons, is that we couldn't put gates at Goodman's and Heathfield because of the lay of the land, and so they both have height barriers.
Yeah.
which in themselves is a restriction for.
And it works with Goodman's and Heathfield. There's never been issues, has there, on there? So I think that's a good, good omen for the future.
Sorry, where is Heathfield? I don't know.
It's next. Sorry, we call it Heathfield. It's actually the field next to the War Memorial Hall.
Opposite the car,
Oh, yes,
Demi-Tines.
I know.
Demi-Tines, yeah.
More than Royal
Yeah.
Field,
Yeah.
really, isn't it? But it's called Heathfield.
I would also say that through monitoring, if we did feel there was a problem, we could always come back and consider putting height barriers on the two that don't have them.
Height barriers we should.
I think that is
the
a
War Memorial ones, aren't they?
I think
That's
that's a
wide, you know.
proposal.
Kicked myself the other day.
I think that's a proposal, Francis. I think that's a really good idea.
Would you want to adopt that into a proposal?
I would very much like to steal your thunder. But yeah, no, I do.
So what would your proposal be?
To put height barriers on.
Could I suggest we monitor
Budget.
it first?
So do you want me to make a proposal?
Yeah.
My proposal is that we leave the gates unlocked over the Christmas festive period this year, not lock them, and we can see how they go moving forward. And
For clarification, you said unlocked over the Christmas period. Do you mean unlocked
Forever.
for permanently? Did you just?
oh yes, permanently. Beg your pardon, permanently. Sorry, yes, permanently.
And monitored.
And monitor, see how they go. Yeah.
And then
Right.
we have to look at other and
Right,
things.
so just so I can clarify, your proposal is that the gates are unlocked permanently and and the ground staff
We
monitor.
them, yeah. I don't know where the Christmas book came from. Sorry about that. Well,
Right, so you can now do your seconding and
Can I ask Chris before we get carried away with voting?
Yeah.
Sorry, what potential issue do you see height barriers solving?
Well, I just think it's sort of belt and braces a little bit, really. Just in case we get like visitors.
Just to stop high vehicles getting in.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, yeah, but
caravans.
I guess which high vehicles is what I'm
just
asking.
having
Well, I think
Placed
it's where people would like to camp.
Ashling Park
Camper vans, basically.
is
Yeah.
3,480.
Caravans.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
We have to find
Camper
the money
vans,
somewhere.
caravans.
Yeah,
Right.
people that might want to camp
So-
on pieces of open field.
Yeah.
But these car parks.
Yeah, but people do want to.
But theoretically, they could go through the car park, through the fence and into the field.
Yeah, they could.
But
They could.
isn't that then breaking into
Okay.
trespassing?
Let's-
Damage,
I guess,
isn't it?
I guess it's monitoring it, isn't it?
That would then be trespassing, damage to council lands. I mean, they can get into the first part. But I think it's worth trialling. And if we do, we can always look at height barriers, which roughly coming at 3,500 to 4,000.
But
They're not overly, but we would have to find the budget for that.
But yeah, like
can
you
do
say,
that
let's
later,
monitor
perhaps.
it and see if it becomes an issue.
So that's my proposal then, is that we keep them unlocked, keep an eye on it, and then we review where necessary. All right. Perhaps the ground staff, of course, will be involved in that on a daily basis, I'm sure, on monitoring.
I see it, don't they?
They on their rounds.
Go around
So-
the business.
Do we have a seconder for that proposal? Councillor Stella, all in favour for that proposal? That's unanimous. And then, so back on the agenda now, item 15 is incidents to receive any other reports of incidents. It's the amenities managed facilities to consider and determine action. Incidences.
Right, there are two, both of which you will be aware of. The first one was the signage that went up at the cultivation plots on River End for the parking spaces that we owned.
yeah.
Some, and
what's about this?
and a
The
car
various
parking
residents.
company tried to make people buy
Pay.
permits to
That's
stay in our spaces. Those have been removed, and the company were asked to remove them, and then sent an email saying, "But surely, wouldn't you like our help in making sure your spaces are, you know?"
Is that what that response was it? And what did we reply back?
And we said no, thank you.
No, thank you.
So their signage has been removed, and the sign saying that they are owned by Denmead Parish Council has
And there was
gone
no
back
damage
up.
to our posts? No,
No,
they didn't.
no.
Fine.
So that was the first one.
Thank
And
you.
the second one was just an update. The height barrier into Ashling Park car park that was hit by the school minibus, and the poor lady that was outed by the child. Bless her. That has now been, the insurance claim has now been settled, and we have received the funding, and so that has now been ordered, and hopefully will be replaced before Christmas.
And that is roughly about 3.
That I
Three
think
and
it
a
was
half,
3,000. Yeah, I think it was about £3,485
if we need it.
for that one.
Thank you. Item 16 on the agenda is social media, to consider what content could be added to the council's social media output, to consider and determine action. So anything from this evening's agenda which we might feel necessary to be put on our social media platform.
I think it might be reason to put on about playgrounds, because there's quite a lot of little chatter that goes on Facebook about the swings are out of action, we're taking things away. You know, there's quite a lot of little narratives that people put up about because they see these things out of action, or they see things that are going to be mended, but jump to the conclusion. Francis, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I can give you an update on the swings, which is the reason they were removed, as you are aware, is that our risk assessment, our independent assessment said that because all the kids could jump in the middle at the same time, they may hit each other and cause injury, and we should put something in the middle to stop that happening, which led us to think if we put something in the middle, they will just hit that.
Yeah.
But I have found a company, and I'm just waiting for the quotes for replacing the seats, but I found a company that do what they call a back bar, which is a bar that you secure to your existing seat chains. And if we put it on, that's the swing. If we put it on here, they can't jump out that way. So either they face that way and they have their legs through, but they can't jump out that way, or they have to face outwards, in which case they can't hit each other. But the back bar is £56, including VAT, but I'm just waiting for Sam to confirm how many swings we actually need to replace.
Then that will come to.
So I'm hoping that before Christmas we will have the swing issue solved.
But I think it would be prudent to put it on social media to say that, you know,
we are reviewing our.
We're intending to replace them.
Our swing policy to make them more safe for the children of our village. We are blah 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 blah.
The council is constantly aware and always reviewing the safety and equipment of our parks, something like that.
Of our parks and our children, because I think there is little narratives that go on. You know, they see a bit of tape and everybody rushes to a conclusion. So I think it would be nice to, in the new theme of openness and transparency to the community, I think it would be very prudent that we put it on, just to say watch this space really.
And you'll be able to park in the car park over Christmas.
Yeah, the car parking sort of, I don't know, what do you call it, the car parking, unchaining or whatever. I'm sure you can put something, you know,
I would just do the Christmas period rather than advertise all. So over the Christmas period we'll be leaving our gates. And then it will slowly get round rather than.
See through that it's not open.
Okay, any other matters for social media or?
I don't know if it's going to be poking the bear or not. But I was going to say, what about something about reiterating to people about our land?
I think that's a situation that is going to rumble on anyway. So
Speaking of which, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. No other matters, so we move on to item 17 on the agenda, which is matters for the next agenda. Councillors are asked to inform the committee clerk of any items they would like to be added to the next agenda, either now or over the coming weeks.
Francis,
Forward to Francis.
put in something. It's Goodman's Field yet again. Sorry, Francis, I know that it's always me in Goodman's Field. But where you're investigating the bridge, where people cross from one field to another, which it hasn't been taped off, but the stepping stones have been gone, it's really, really overgrown. So I just wondered if Sam and the grounds team can just go under and clip some of those low-hanging branches off. It's not an onerous task, but it's the task that is dark and people are getting caught up on those.
Right, if you don't mind, I won't put that on the next agenda. I will just ask to do it. Sam to do it for health and safety.
That would be perfect, because it will take some desire.
And perhaps we can just note that at the next one or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
May I ask, there's a tree between Creech View and Harvest Field on that footpath that's completely dead, has been for a number of years, and I have concerns that it's going to start falling off it shortly, and we should decide what to do about it. It's a big old oak, but it died.
Have you got TPO on it?
I don't know, but it is completely...
Whereabouts are you? Whereabouts?
There's a path that runs from Creech View to Harvest Field.
Yeah,
by the pond.
Oh, that's one.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
skeleton tree.
Yeah.
You know the one I mean, yes.
There's a reason we left that.
It's already got TPO on it. Well, yeah, because
It was
We
kept
left-
for a reason.
we
It
kept it
died,
for
but
a reason.
It stayed there for a reason. I can't remember why.
Was it
Can't remember. If
a
we were gonna-
habitat? Was it a habitat?
It was either a habitat or we were going to carve it. Could you look into that, Francis, and perhaps bring it back? Yeah,
it would be nice to be carved. It would be nice.
we could. Yeah, because
It's been there for years, ever since it died.
we've recently been looking at Horndean and all their trees. They carve into some lovely benches or animals, similar to Lee Park Gardens, perhaps.
It's nice. It is real art.
That's very villagey and
It
country.
is very.
I see. I remember what she said something before about that tree.
Right, I'm not aware of that, so it probably wasn't at this committee.
Maybe highway.
It might have been highways.
Speak to
So
Liz.
I don't know which tree you're talking about. So if I can send,
I'll take a picture of it. I'm out and about.
Yes.
Or yeah, if
and-
Martin's out and about, take a photo.
Yeah,
Send
I
it
can
to
take,
me.
I can take a picture.
Yeah.
and yeah, make sure you get a bit of the road in, because then I'll be able to
Well,
work
no,
out
it's not on
where.
the road, it's on the footpath.
Yeah.
Well, take a picture of the section of the footpath.
And if you're clever enough, you'll be able to get our notice board in there, because then the Francis will know where it is.
Just don't
It's
get
near the
involved
front.
in
It's
bit
right
of
near the
footpath.
notice board, which is
Well, no,
pinned
that's
to the
on other
harvest
side, isn't it? So,
pond fence.
Oh right, so it's actually in Harvest Field.
Field, yeah.
Oh right, okay.
But it's
Our
at the
notice
top-
board is right next to it, isn't it, on the fence?
Is
It's
that
at the top
that's
end of
right,
Harvest
yeah,
Field
yeah.
rather than the bottom end of Harvest Field.
And the river just goes, I say the river, the little ditch goes, and it's that side. It's that one
right?
there.
Yes, if you can get the notice board, because as
I'll take
Martin
some
knows, I have photographs of all of our notice boards.
Do I have an email? Do I have your email?
Yeah, I'm amenities
Amenities.
at denmead-pc.gov.uk. So I need to say you're closing it.
Right, meeting closed. Thank you very much, councillors.